Black Christmas from 1974 is directed by Bob Clark, who also directed A Christmas Story.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Unlike that film, I think you could fairly give Black Christmas Nightmare Before Christmas status in that you could watch it at Christmas or Halloween. Halloween also being a film and franchise heavily inspired by Black Christmas at John Carpenter's own admission. When I ask you what was the first slasher film, you could point to 1960 with Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho and Michael Powell's Peeping Tom. Though it's not an obvious lineage from their psychological thrills with violent twists to the likes of Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers. 1978's Halloween itself is a taut and influential film and an obvious staple of the genre. 4 years earlier, Tobe Hooper's also brilliant Texas Chainsaw Massacre left an indelible impression on horror movies and independent filmmaking. But slightly earlier the same year, I guess influential slashers always come in twos, we have Black Christmas, which I'd argue is the progenitor of the genre as we know it today, both in terms of it being first and in terms of its quality. And it is a quality movie for very different reasons than you might expect.
What do you want? Why are you doing this?
Filthy Billy! I know you're there, nasty Billy! Your answer is me!
Who are you? For God's sake, what are you doing?
There's a sense of everyday realism to the characters and how they interact with each other. It's tense and slow burning. Taboo issues are explored with nuance and sensitivity. It's naturally acted, threadbare, and focused in its plotting. It doesn't overplay its hand with disruptive music or sound effects. The camera work is deliberate and voyeuristic. And yes, it retains its immense creepiness 50 years later, and its visceral imagery of death is mind-searing. It's a film packed with iconic imagery: the plastic-wrapped corpse in the rocking chair, the eye in the doorway, Olivia Hussey panting into a phone receiver. It's one of the hallmark Canadian tax shelter era films, which was a period from the late 70s to the early 80s, in which you could claim back a lot of production costs in tax credits. And speaking for myself and every filmmaker I know here, it would be really, really great if we could bring this back. Black Christmas is mostly set in a sorority house during the holiday season. During a Christmas party thrown by the sisters, an unseen intruder climbs into the house's attic. The women are harassed by anonymous threatening phone calls, and when young Claire Harrison breaks off from the group to pack her bags, she's murdered. Her disappearance sets off a local firestorm as her father arrives in town to meet her, and the sorority, as well as the police, try to find Claire and the source of the calls. The film leverages this horrific, dramatic irony. We as the audience know the killer is lurking in the attic the whole time, but none of the characters do. The directorial trickery and sleight of hand can be subtle because of this. Not much is needed to remind us of his presence. Moments where the film flashes back to Claire in the plastic wrap are powerful. Where most slasher films would never return to her again, Black Christmas makes her deathly presence hang over the entire film. Her death isn't a stylish one-off, it's important. From its opening credits with a haunting, eerie rendition of Silent Night, Black Christmas finds something creepy and strange in the atmosphere of the holiday season. Cramped attics crowded with gifts, the early darkness, the cold, and the leafless trees twisting silhouettes in it. Slow church bells, crooked houses only partially illuminated by Christmas lights. Even caroling kids feel creepy. The subtly unnerving minimal string score, with ambient tones and deep drums, feels ageless. The film used the killer POV trick Halloween relied on and popularized first, with voyeuristic handheld cinematography and heavy breathing, exuding a feeling of menace while the stalker himself remains unseen. Though in a sharp contrast to the silent, precise, omniscient qualities of Michael Myers, this killer is far more emotionally unmoored, brutish, and unpredictable. The cinematography is claustrophobic and voyeuristic throughout, capturing characters behind railings, between shelves, and isolated in the red glow of Christmas lights. All of this contributes to the feeling that the killer is just out of sight, lying in wait. This is also where the call is coming from inside the house originated, years before When a Stranger Calls, in one of the film's most intense, powerfully suspenseful moments, as Jess must decide whether to leave quickly with her life or save her friends first.
Bill! Bob! Please answer me! Please answer me!
It's funny contrasting Canada's polite image and reputation with the fact that we've spent so much time pioneering a genre known for its brutal nastiness, but there you go. It's also worth noting, however, that the tropes and ideas associated with the slasher film, arguably emanating from Halloween, are not present in Black Christmas, at least not in the same ways. Bob Clark considered the film more of a psychological thriller than a slasher. The killer in the film doesn't differentiate between the good girls and bad girls. Where most slasher movies, Halloween included, indirectly suggest that sluttiness equals death and virginal equals life, Black Christmas sensitively explores its protagonist deciding on an abortion after an unplanned pregnancy, which becomes wound into her possessive boyfriend's emotional breakdown. He's a flailing concert pianist and sees Jess's baby as a way for him to retake some purpose in his life.
Do you remember when we first met? You told me about your wanting to be a concert pianist. And I told you about some of the things that I wanted to do. I still want to do those things. You can't ask me to drop everything I've been working for and give up all my ambitions because your plans have changed.
Olivia Hussey is brilliant in the film, giving us an incredibly convincing portrait of a reasonable, thoughtful woman descending into terror. Her likability is one of the film's greatest strengths. I guess she's also what you'd call the original final girl, though again, I don't think Black Christmas adheres so much to the hallmarks it indirectly inspired. This is a film that explores misogyny in its many forms, with a killer meant to be a personification of the stalking and abuse women often face. The phone calls are profoundly disturbing, and the camera lingers soberly on the faces of its young female cast to trace their emotional impact.
I'm very disappointed in this atmosphere. I didn't send my daughter here to be drinking and picking up boys.
Male authority figures in the film dismiss the women's panic over the repeated calls, tell them to shut up, tell them to stay sober, tell them to stay virginal. Multiple generations of women in the film bristle against these expectations.
I don't know what the bastards expect of me.
Decorating the police station with dollar store American flags is funny, but it can't plaster over the Canadiana oozing from the entire film and its Toronto landmarks, including the U of T campus. The Clarendon sorority house also looks like the exact same today, and Buddy even calls for backup from Scarborough.
Lieutenant, the men are here from Scarborough.
This has always been an important film to me. Black Christmas runs a clinic on how to generate suspense, on how to keep a lurid story grounded and real, and on how performances are an absolutely essential ingredient to effective horror movies. If you want a temporary, gritty reprieve from uppity holiday classics, I prescribe a rewatch.